How's everybody doing today? Today I just wanted to go over the functionality of list boxes and check boxes and radio buttons. The list boxes have the most functionality, so I'll cover them first. One thing you can do is it's called selected index. So what the selected index does, if I go to the code here, the selected index will tell you which choice in the list box the user selected. The top choice is going to be 0, the next choice is going to be 1. If they didn't select anything, it's going to be -1. If I run this, I can see, all right, let's say I select the Beatles, click selected index, it says 2. Now why does it say 2? Well, 0, 1, 2. If I go and select this one, it says 5 because this is my 5th one. Dire Straits is my top one, so it says 0. Now selected item is slightly different. What selected item does is it actually returns the text value. So I'm on my top one, Dire Straits, I hit selected item, it returns the text value. Steely Dan, it returns the actual text value. Sometimes you want to return the number, sometimes you want to return the text value. The count command, what that does is it will count how many items are in your list box. I've got 6 items, so it counted all 6. Now, if I want to go to add items, in mine, what I've got this set to do, if I look at add items, I've got this set to take a item out of a text box and add it to my list. Now, when you use items.add, you could type it in directly, like you could just put in quotes and put a new band in here. I'm taking it out of a text box. You could take it out of a variable. So if I run this again, I add a band. I added the Rolling Stones in my text box. I click add items and it adds it to there. Now, when you talk about removing items, there's 2 ways that you can do it. If you use the remove command, what it will do, it requires you to type in which item you want to remove, and you have to get that exactly or it won't do it. Remove at, you type in the indice, like which place is it at, like 0, 1, 2, or 3. So I'll try the remove items. I'm going to type in a band. Okay, I typed in Eagles. I type remove item and you can see it got rid of the Eagles. Now if I had a lowercase e or I spelled this wrong, it wouldn't work. Remove at is different. Remove at uses a number. Okay, in our case it's going to have to be between 0 and 5 because I've got that many items. So I'm going to say 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, that should remove Steely Dan, and it does. Items contains, what that does is it'll actually check and see if your list box contains a particular item. I'm going to shut off the run here for a second, and I'm going to go down to items contains. In my items contains line of code here, I have it set to look for Beatles. So if I go ahead and run this, I see Beatles is in here. Items contains, it says true. If I had looked for another band, that would return a false if that other band wasn't in here. Clear items just clears all the items out of the list box. So that's kind of just, you can see this thing running. You can go back and look at the code and get an example for each of these pieces of code. Hopefully that'll be helpful in just showing you how much functionality these list boxes have. The other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to look at radio boxes and check boxes. Now, radio buttons are used when you need to give the user several choices, but they can only pick one choice. The example I used is we've got Cyber Pizza here, so I have to select size, and then I've got to select topping. So obviously size, they're buying a pizza, they have to select a particular size for their pizza. They can't select small and then select medium at the same time. But for toppings, they can have all 3 toppings or just 2 toppings or 1 topping. So we use checkboxes here for toppings because checkboxes let the user select as many as they want. So if I go ahead and I run this, I say, okay, I just want a small pizza with nothing on it, that's $12. I want a medium pizza with nothing on it, that's $16. Large pizza with nothing on it, that's $20. If I go back to small, that's $12. I want onions, that costs $2 more. Ham, is an extra $3, and pineapple is an extra $3 as well. So it just adds up the prices here. Now, if I look at my code here, the way that you work with radio buttons and check boxes, I called mine for the sizings rad small, rad medium, rad large. It's the dot checked property. Okay, if it's been checked, I wanted to make the pizza price a certain amount. So I've got 3 if statements, one for each radio button. Same deal with the check boxes here. It's the dot checked property that indicates whether the user has selected it. So I had CHK onions, CHK ham, CHK pineapple. So I've got 3 if statements. In this case, you notice I use pizza price plus equal will add 2 more to the pizza price. And the last thing I did is just display it into the text box. So that's kind of just a general look at these 3 different items: list boxes, radio buttons, and check boxes. They're all pretty simple to use, really, and they can make your programs a lot more effective. Hopefully this was helpful. We'll see you next time.